that money would be gone if I spent it. And so that was like a really big underlying belief that I have tackled and worked through in such a short period of time that when I put money into flow, it flows back. And so beforehand, again, stuck at those 20 to 30K months consistently. I'd hit higher level months, but not consistently. And then I had what I called a safety net client. And they didn't view themselves as a client. They viewed me as an employee, but I was a contractor. So it was definitely a client. And that being said, though, I had that. And so I was holding onto my safety net just in case something happened, because years ago, my husband and I, we have like our oldest daughter is 18 now, and we'd gone through a time of poverty, like a really severe time of poverty where we could have qualified for government assistance, but we didn't take it until like we absolutely had to. And it was really hard. And so just having been there before, there's all those fears that kind of live in your subconscious mind that you don't really pay attention to. You just kind of stomp them down because you're like, I need to stay positive. I need to believe the good things. I need to only focus on the good things. And I've actually dug up a lot of those and faced a lot of those fears in the last 2 months in a really big way. And I know you just asked me where was I at before. I'm already diving into like
That's
some of the
okay.
work that I've done, but
That's okay.
it's just so important. It's just so important that like I'm actually facing those fears head on, because first off, they're losing their power over me. Those fears don't have power. There's a really cool scripture that I love that says, like, we've not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Like, and so that's who we already are. But
Yeah.
sometimes we get out of alignment with who we actually are. And I think just getting back in tune with who I really am and not what the circumstances or experiences of the past led me to believe. And so, again, something that I've also really come to understand this year is that beliefs are just thoughts that we keep thinking or keep choosing to think. And at any time we can change our mind. And I really feel like in Millionaire, I've been able to do that
Yeah.
much faster than before.
I'm going to take you back just a touch because I know you already went into it, but you were sharing where you were beforehand, and then Diamond Academy and Kathleen appeared. So what do you
I
think
think the
that was?
story of how that appeared is really cool. Can I share that?
That's what I'm wanting you to touch on. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. Okay,
Right?
cool.
All
So
the
I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor. Tony Robbins a little bit, but mainly like Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor are like home for me. It's like I call them my grandpas or whatever. It's like these are my
grandfathers.
granddads. And also no, Napoleon Hill has a really cool like 13 keys of success that's free on YouTube. Like I'll go and I'll just take advantage of all of this amazing wisdom and knowledge from the past. I think I was also this last year, I listened to a lot of Abraham Hicks. I listened to a lot of that. And so I'd gotten back in, I'd gotten kind of, sometimes you listen to the same thing over and over again, and eventually it gets kind of stale. Earl Nightingale's, what is it? The Strangest Secret, I think is what that audio is called. I've listened to that one hundreds of times. It's never gotten stale for me. That one, I've always gotten something new out of it. And so I'd gotten a little stale with Abraham Hicks stuff because I just listened to so much of it. And there's like almost only so much of like one type of energy I feel that I can absorb or gain from. And so I switch back and forth to get myself into those energies of the other people. I kind of use it like my round table effect that they talk about in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to Earl Nightingale. I was back on that, listening to Earl Nightingale, and then in the kitchen just prepping for my day, and all of a sudden it just plays one of the videos from YouTube, which is where we are right now, which is so surreal because this is like less than 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And so Kathleen's video comes on, and you have no idea. Well, maybe you do because I've shared it with you, but other people, you have no idea. I was sitting here for the last 2 years thinking how there was no female that I've seen that is where I want to be in life. There's a lot of really successful females, but none of them are where I want to be in life that I had seen at that point. And none of them are doing the things that I actually want to do. So I had no female role model. I've just had all of these male role models. And I'm like, I'm going to be the female who does that. And I was just spiritually, I was like, I really wish that there was a female that I could look up to. And then there was Kathleen, and then she was sharing her story. And then her story, as she shared about it, and she talked about how she quantum leaped, and in her first 7 months hit 1 million, and then the next year hit 12 million. And I was like, I was like, yes, exactly. Because all of the mentors and gurus that I've talked to, they're like, oh, you have to stair step slowly. You have to put in your time. You have to put in all this effort and you have to learn the skills and you have to go through these downfalls before you can have the up, because that was their story. But just because that was their story doesn't mean it has to be mine. And so when I heard Kathleen, I was like, yes, there it is. And I heard her talking and I was like, that is my people.
Yeah.
Like, she's my people. And so I was just listening. I was like, I'm going to pay this woman money and I'm going to go through whatever it is that she has. And I was listening to her stuff every day. And so she became the thing that I was listening to every single morning to put myself in that mindset of the energy that I would desire to be at. Right. And then I went to the website. It was like within a week, I went to the website and then I was on a call with you. And then like, here we are now, like, ta-da.
I love it. I love it. And like in such a short time frame, you have spewed out nothing but like win upon win upon win. So I want you to share a little bit about the quantum leaps that have already taken place in your life, your business thus far. And I also want to just touch on one thing is that I hope that the listeners are picking up on the fact that you embodied it. You didn't just continue listening to it from the grandfathers, the old school OGs of this material. You called in this woman exactly what you wanted, and then you embodied that version. So you stepped in, you took the decision. So go ahead. What leaps have taken place since then?
Well, okay. First off, just to touch on this for anyone who is going through any of the programs, just so that you understand like the impact, what I have recognized, and I do a lot of testing in what I do for my business. My business is social media stuff. And so we do a lot of testing to see what works really well. And I've done a lot of testing even with this material. I went through Bob Proctor's Lead the Field series, and I've been through that like 3 or 4 times. So I have a lot of clarity on vision, like vision boarding and direction and what I want in life. I have a lot of clarity on that. One of the things that I didn't have was practical daily application in a way that brought me back in alignment with myself. And I didn't understand how important that piece was until I experienced it and physically felt it. Because it's a feeling like being in faith and like faith in what you are actually in alignment with versus what you are not in alignment with. It is you can feel it physically when you are in alignment versus out of alignment. And going through her things, I'd learned from Bob Proctor's stuff that you go through the video, and Lead the Field, he talked about it. You go through the video like once a day, same video every single day for like a week. And so when I jumped in and you mentioned that to me, I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I know that there's a lot of women who just like go through all the videos real quick so that they can get an overview and then they start going back through them slowly. That's not what I did. So our experiences are maybe different, and that's okay. One of the things that I realized and recognized that I wasn't doing that I really needed is the journaling with listening. So you can listen as much as you want, and it can have a little bit of belief shifting, but the journaling is where you take all of these ideas that are in your head and you solidify them. And so it was such a key point that I recognized in the first like 2 or 3 weeks. On the days that I didn't journal, my day didn't feel as aligned as the days that I did journal. And so that was a big step. And then also the visualization part and actually embodying that and putting it into practice. Like, how does millionaire, multimillionaire Sierra show up?
Yeah.
What does she look like? What does she do? So I started doing that. And when I started doing that, like my very first week, so I hear something from intuition. And the moment that I hear it, if I believe it and I receive it in that moment, I know it's mine. Right. And I didn't always have that belief in knowing that, okay, it's definitely mine because I received it. But there was this trip that was offered to me to go to Cabo. So like the very first couple weeks that I was in, I was offered this trip to go to Cabo. And then they were like, okay, but it's in 3 weeks. And I was like, okay. And he's like, do you have a passport? And I was like, oh, no, I don't have one of those. And then all of these people, including my husband included, who I love very much, and he's been amazing and an awesome support in this, in that moment, he didn't have the same belief that I did, that I received it and it was mine. And so he's like, everything that I've looked into says that it's impossible for us to get passports in 3 weeks. And I was like, there's no way. There's got to be a way because I received it when I heard it. So there's got to be a way. And so I asked him to look again, and he was like, I can't find anything. Like, there's only the same day passport places. They're all really far away from us. And so I asked a friend, reached out to her, and we were able, like, not only were we able to get our passports, we were able to get our passports same day, 2 weeks before our trip. And then about like a week or 2 weeks into my Millionaire program, like we were on our way to Cabo. And so I'm just sitting there, I'm like, we're on our way to Cabo. We're on our way to Cabo. Look at us. We're on our way to Cabo. And we ended up staying at a 5-star resort. And I really felt like God told me when I was there, like I heard it in my spirit and I just knew it, that this is your new standard. And so ever since then, I've been making sure that my world is aligning with the standard that I was told was my standard. And it's been unshakable. It's like the moment that something looks out of alignment, I'm like, no, that's not it. And this is what I heard in my spirit. So I know that it's true. Even when the experience in the outside world doesn't look like it, I know that it's true. And so just to list off a few things, I told you I was stuck at those like 20 to 30K months consistently. I had a safety net client. It was actually the day. So I feel like I manifested stepping away from that client sooner than what I wanted out of fear. I wanted to hold on to that client a little bit longer, keep working with them, have that extra income coming in because I felt like I needed that for safety.
Mm-hmm.
And I have learned that it is safe to follow your gut and your intuition, that still small voice inside of you. It is safe to follow that voice because the day that I ended up walking away, it was about a month sooner than I wanted to walk away. The person actually had talked to me and he's like, hey, I want you to make a decision. You either need to go all in with us or you need to go all in on that. And I mean, it was a clear no brainer. I had to go all in on my own business because my own business had so much more capacity for growth than working with their company. And so for me, it was a no brainer. I had to do that. And so, but it was really scary. And I cried a lot. I think I actually ended up having like an anxiety attack. I woke up one morning with an anxiety attack, did not go to church that day. And it was just like, but I was facing my fear because I was having to make that decision sooner than I thought I was ready. And again, sooner than I thought I was ready.
Yeah.
But I was ready because the moment you have the idea couldn't even exist if everything needed to make it happen wasn't possible. And so I stepped away from that client, and that day I ended up getting 5 sales calls on the calendar, and within a week and a half all of those were closed. All of those new sales were closed. And so the money that I stepped away from, I had already more than replaced it within a week and a half.
Yeah.
And so that was like, it was almost like myself and spirit just saying, I've got you. Like, just trust.
Yeah.
And so this month so far with my accountability partners, I've always had a lot of belief in accountability partners. And one of my accountability partners was telling me her story of what she did because she wanted to launch her own new business. And so she leveraged debt to get that started, got applied for a couple credit cards, applied for some business loans. And I was like, she doesn't even have a business yet. I was like, I'm not sure. Like, and she got approved for all of them. Even one of them that told her she wasn't approved for, the next day she applied again. I think she said in less than 12 hours, she applied again. And then she was approved from the one who told her no the day before. She was like, no, that was mine. I was supposed to receive that. And she went and applied again. And I just like, it inspired me so much. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could get into my house faster this year. And so I was like, okay, I should go apply for things. I didn't apply for loans before because, my credit is fair. It's not like really good though. And I wanted to get good rates and all that kind of stuff. I had these beliefs that it had to be a certain way. And I was like, they probably won't approve me for those. But no, I got approved for a personal loan. We were able to pay down debt. I can't wait to see how much of a boost my credit score gets this next month once it finally like hits and goes through. And then I also got approved, like my car, the paint started peeling. I've been driving it around. I really don't like that the paint is peeling. That's not in alignment with who I am. And I got approved for a vehicle note. And that was like, all of that was like, I don't know, like a week and a half ago. No, it was within the last 2 weeks. It's crazy how fast things are happening.
But you were
Within the
getting
last
signed
2 weeks.
land for that vehicle
What's
in
that?
Cabo. You said the vehicle, right? Remember that was another one that you shared with me that was a sign of land that you saw in Cabo because you got picked up in that particular car that you're
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I decided on the flight down there that I was like, I think I want an Escalade because that's like the bougiest version. I have 5 kids, so our family is 7. So we have to have a big vehicle to like tote around our basketball team or whatever. Um, but I decided when I was like on the way to Cabo, I was like, I think I want an Escalade because that is the most bougie version of, and I deserve it. I deserve to have nice things. And so I thought about it, but I'd never ridden in one before. So I wasn't really sure if it was that much greater, if it was just because of the name, whatever. And we literally got picked up at the airport in an Escalade. And it was a white Escalade with a brandy interior, which I thought that that's what I wanted until I found out that platinum doesn't come in brandy. And then I recognized recently that my favorite color is white, which is why my nails are white. And I was just like, okay, cool. I can be picky. Picky is good. And so now I'm just waiting for them to find my vehicle, and I know that it's coming like within the next week because that's what I want. That's what I decided. I was like, well, I'm going out of town this weekend, so next week would be fine.
so
And I
beautiful.
know it's coming.
So beautiful. So share with everybody what is next for you, because the greater the vision, it's all possible. So what's next for you, girlfriend?
Well, first things first, we're scaling my business into the multi-millions rapidly, just like Kathleen did. I know that I've been in hiding for the last year for whatever reason, like maybe irrelevant, the reasons of why I was in hiding, old beliefs, subconscious beliefs, things that I thought, allowing these outside circumstances or voices to be the guiding voice for me instead of me just following the voice inside of me. And so watching you, Rosie, and also Kathleen be led by the voice inside of you and seeing you go through those things and knowing that it's not happening, it's done. Seeing that lets me know and believe that all of those things, like it's okay, first off, it's okay to follow that still small voice inside of you. It's okay to choose not to like things. It's okay to change your mind. And it's okay to make mistakes. And the success is still going to happen, even though we make mistakes. And there was one day I was really sad about something and I was crying. And I realized it's okay to grieve and still succeed. And so now we're on the path to multi-millions in the business that I'm currently building, but we're also stepping into several levels of being investors. And the vision is to be at the table with 8 and 9 figure, did I say 8 and 9 figure? Yeah, 8 and 9 figure earners where they're asking my advice. And I've already had 6 8 figure clients at this point. And so and I've worked on some really big teams and I've seen the processes and operations behind the scenes. And I know that I already have really amazing wisdom to share with those people. And so just being at those tables, I think I said 9 and 10 figure earners. If I didn't, we're changing it to that now. So 9 and 10 figure earners sitting at those tables where they're asking me my advice on things, and then just following the path of getting this energy out to more people and just completely changing the way that people have a relationship with social media, the way that people have a relationship with being online, the way that people have a relationship with themselves, being able to be one of those extensions for even Kathleen and for your team, that I'm an extension of that energy and helping her to get the message out to more people. So
Love it. Love it.
yeah.
If anybody is on the fence and you had one bit of advice that you wanted to give to them today, what would that be?
Ooh, I get asked this question a lot, but not in this context. So this is really exciting for me. I'll tell them what you told me. And it's that if you had the desire for it and the idea was in your mind, it's already done. So money's already available to get in. Everything that you need to make it happen is already available. No matter where you're at, like a lot of times we jump on something and we take action on something because we had a vision for it happening a certain way. And just know it's either this or something better. Like even just the fact that I'm here right now, we tried to organize me being on the live training yesterday, and for whatever reason it didn't work out, and now I'm getting to extend this energy out to even more people today on the YouTube channel. So I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Like it's either this or something better, always. Always. And I actually told my husband yesterday before we even talked about me being here today. I told him yesterday, I was like, I know that I say this a lot, this or something better, but I feel like every time I put my faith out there for something, like I always get the thing. And so like I've never had to see that in practice where I didn't get the original thing and I got something better. I've never really had to see that in practice with my faith. It's like usually that's happened when I wasn't actually believing for something. And then I was like, oh, this would be nice. And then something happened that was even better. And I was like, cool. But this time, like immediately it was put into practice. Immediately, as soon as I said, I've not seen this before. And then the universe was like, oh, you want to see that? Check me out, you know? And
Love it.
so for anyone who's on the fence, if you want it, just follow that still small voice inside of you. You have a gut instinct and it's never wrong. It's never wrong. Just go. I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter what you decide. It just matters that you make a decision and you run with it, because you're going to find your left, right barriers. You're going to find all the things that you don't want a lot faster if you will just run. And so I would say, just go, just run, and do it as fast as you can, because the faster you make the decision, the faster you're going to see the results and the success and all of the things that you really want. And you get to have whatever you want.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Kathleen and I and the entire team are so grateful that you took out the time in your day to be with us here today and to share with everybody who gets to hear this. So thank you, Sierra. And
Absolutely.
I just want to say to those that are listening, I work along these beautiful manifestation mentors. We are all assigned to one of you guys. So reach out to us. We are here to help you. And your quantum leaps, like they literally await and you're a decision away. So with that, thank you again.